Okay, so we do know that the finale is now going to be
like information that just came in hot off the presses. So you announce it.
Well, knowing what happens in the 21st episode, how are fans going to feel about that being the finale?
I think it's still got some really great cliffhanger things. I quickly just peeked because you just told me where we're going to end it because it just came in. I mean, look, I think the most important thing is, we all want to make sure that we are flattening the curve and keeping everyone safe. So we have to end with this episode because it was the ones that we finished with. But the writers are so good that it's going to totally work as a finale. And I think, again, it is quintessential Grays. You will be laughing and crying simultaneously. And then we've got a whole bunch of amazing things then in store for you guys for the new season.
What can you tease about this new finale episode? What sort of happens? What answers will we get in this episode?
You definitely will get some answers, and you will definitely get some new kind of questions of like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? There's definitely a couple cliffhangers. I quickly, just while you were getting your news from your producer, I quickly just looked at which episode it was, and the last scene is sort of well, what does that mean? So it's kind of, I think is going to work out perfect. I'm sad that we only have 2 more shows for you guys, but I think because I want to be able to have more for you guys, but it just means we'll have more next season.
Knowing where this episode ends, do you think the writers will pivot? We sort of talked about this earlier. Mm-hmm. Or do you think you guys will finish filming the rest of the episodes as part of season 17, knowing that this is the finale?
I mean, that's a really good question. And again, I trust Krista to figure out what is best for the show. Because they have more time to kind of, maybe they'll rework the scenes that they have and include that. Maybe it'll pick up. That's a really kind of writer question. Mm-hmm. I think we have some amazing stuff in the can. And so I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but I would think that they would use some of those great scenes that we've already shot. But I also equally think that, maybe they're thinking this is an opportunity to see how things played out and what they want to kind of raise, higher stakes or, include. And it's an opportunity to kind of rework the canvas.
Will we get answers about Richard in these final 2 episodes then?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Maggie, what's happening?
I don't know. Okay, and how are fans gonna feel?
I don't want to give any spoilers, but I think fans I think they should tune in.
Okay, and will we get some sort of resolution in these final 2 episodes with the Owen, Tom, Teddy?
I think it's juicy. I think there's definitely something you guys should not miss. I literally went under the table at the table read. Like, what's happening? I mean, there is such a quintessence, and I know I keep saying this, but there is such I'm going to start blushing. There is you guys have to watch this.
Okay. Are fans going to be happier with Teddy, or are they going to continue being a little bit frustrated by her?
That's going to give it away. Look, Teddy really needs some help.
I love her. And I love you more. Don't say that.
Not only was she with this woman, the woman ended up dying in 9/11. It was also an affair. What was your reaction when you first heard that this was going to happen?
It was such a surprise for me. I mean, we all at the table read were like, oh, it was and then it was of course. It was sort of, I thought, another genius move on Krista and the writers, because it just makes total sense, and that's what's so great about episodic television. And I know that Teddy is in her present life, making some really, really not great choices. But I think that that's also really interesting to lean into. And I think that, Krista and Shonda have always believed that like the messiness is where we kind of learn and grow and to not be afraid of that. So I feel like her flashback with Allison was such an aha moment, and I was so lucky. I mean, our guest actors, Sherry and Rhea, were just so amazing to work with. And they're both so talented. And so I think it was, and then like that, of course, makes total sense.
But do you think now, so you think it's possible to be in love with two people and that maybe she is both in love with Tom and with Owen?
I do. I think you are able to love two people. I mean, in very different ways, right? And that's, I think, what Teddy is struggling with. And I think it really also comes down to Teddy's lack of self-love. She, like, the whole time on Grey's, she's really been, like, if I look back at it and I'm, trying to figure out the mechanics of Teddy, and she's really always, in a way, been with unavailable people. And I think that that's something that she really needs to examine. Like, if I'm gonna analyze Teddy, and I think that that's because she's afraid to be loved. And I think that that is kind of, in a way, universal. When we're picking partners, it first comes down, not to be so philosophical, but it does come down to self-love in order to be loved. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing to be looking at. And I know the fans are super upset with Teddy right now, and I totally get it. And because these choices, you know what I mean? I get it, but I'm going to lean into that. And so to try to Teddy's complicated. She's messy, but aren't we all sort of multi-layered and complicated? I know we all don't make poor choices like that, but I think those poor choices, I hope, will lead Teddy to really finding love, and love that's look, I think the affair with Teddy, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, I think that's because she's afraid. I think it's that she does love two people, but I also think that she's afraid. I think that she also needs to figure out that she's worthy of love, and that she won't then be doing these kind of crazy messed up things of cheating. That's the cheating messed up thing, right? I think her love is pure for both of those people, and she really does love both of those people. It's the way she's going about it that's really messed up.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, is about her decision-making process, because if you think about it, it goes way back to literally years ago. She was engaging in this type of behavior. So might we learn a backstory about why she's sort of handling things this way, why she gets involved in these affair, love triangle situations? Kind of walk me through.
I hope so. I mean, Chris and I were sort of talking about it, what's the journey going to be? And I don't think it's going to wrap up neatly. The episodes that are coming up, oh my gosh, you thought these were aha moments last night. I mean, or Thursday night, whenever you guys air this, there's some crazy things coming up in the next two episodes. So I think I'm hoping, and Chris and I are talking about it, that we do walk Teddy into and understand why she's doing what she's doing. And then also, through the messiness, get her to that better place. So I think it's what's really cool also is that it's not just, we're not going to wrap it up and it's not going to be a neat little bow, because I don't think that that's life. I think it's going to take some messiness before she gets some clarity.
But I also do want to talk more about the first responders, because you guys did donate masks and gowns and gloves, I believe. So how did that feel to know that your show was able to do that?
I mean, it was a tremendous relief. We know a lot of the trauma surgeons and a lot of the doctors who come and help us on Grey's, during kind of the regular work time before all of this hit. And, it was really, it's really scary to know that they can't protect themselves, that they don't have the right equipment. And I think all of us at home want to make sure that we can help in some way. And so to know that Grey's could donate those masks and those gowns, it's so moving to see how everyone is trying to do their part in helping. I feel like, again, it's like a time where everyone can use their ingenuity to try to figure out how to get us through this together.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to this episode, I mean, Teddy named her daughter Allison, which further shows like how much that previous relationship impacted her. How do you think it really changed her? Like, was that the love of her life? Because you said that Teddy was the love of Allison's life.
I do think it is one of her loves of her life. I mean, I think we all have sort of like a love of our life that is like a major influence on how we proceed in our life in love and all of that. And but I think I think Allison, yes, is the love of her life. And I think Teddy is trying to figure out now, is there room to find that again? And I think she's also dealing with a lot of like other issues. It's like she survived and Allison didn't. She was the love of her life. And so there's a lot of things that she, and not having that and losing that person and maybe never grieving that person. And so I think that Teddy is trying to figure out how to lead a kind of healthy life and love life. And I think it does start with Allison, and also Teddy lost both of her parents.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of loss in Teddy's life. And I think so there's a lot of fear in terms of letting people into her life. I think that's also a part of why she's kind of behaving the way she is behaving in present time and making those kind of bad choices of, having these affairs. And it's like a continuous thing with Tom. I think she also goes back to Tom, for reasons, and I'm not making an excuse, maybe just an explanation, because she was afraid that she was afraid that Owen wasn't going to pick her again. So they're not like rationally kind of thought out things. But I think, she's, when she lost Allison, she's afraid of losing that love of her life again. So
when, I guess I should say, if Owen finds out that she has cheated on him with Tom, how is he going to react and how is that going to affect the relationship? Wait,
I need time to think about that. What was the last part of the question?
Just if and how Owen finds out that she cheated on him with Tom, how is he going to react and how will that affect?
You gotta watch the next couple episodes. That's all I gotta say, because if we thought we fell off of our chairs during the table read on 19,
oh no,
it's I like really don't want to spoil anything, but it's crazy.
Does she have to choose between Tom and Owen? Maybe does she need to choose herself for a little bit? Kind of like a ending their love triangle.
Let me just say it's messy. It's really messy, but it's really good. I mean, in a very Grey's Anatomy way.
Okay.
How's that for an answer?
That was very helpful. Who do you think is a better match for Teddy, Tom or Owen?
I think they both are great matches in different ways.
Okay.
You see how I'm trying to get out of that one?
I know, that was very political of you.
Look, I think Owen and Teddy have a history that is just so deep that I'm very attached to. I mean, they literally went to war together. So that's really huge for me. But then I think that, Teddy has an understanding of Tom and like his deep pain of having lost his son. And there's a really beautiful episode coming up and understanding also more of Tom. And I think that that's really informative to kind of understand who Tom is you know, underneath that kind of veneer that his character is on the outside, which I think Teddy sees. So I think it's going to come down to can Teddy figure out that she's worthy of being loved, and then who's that best match?
I'm gonna take you home. You're not feeling well.
You know what? I'm fine. You're embarrassing me.
Something also very tragic happened last night with Richard. I'm sure you've seen on social media, the fans are going wild. Was that a stroke? Was it something else? Can you kind of walk us through what's going on with?
Yeah, I mean, that scene, when we filmed that scene with Richard giving the speech, I mean, I literally was getting like body chills because we all love him so much. Can say that Grey's Anatomy, like the hospital and every doctor comes together in such a fantastic way to sort of figure out and problem solve, like, what is the problem? And it's so terrific, and it speaks volumes for Jim's character that he's so beloved. So that is definitely like a big chunk of the next couple episodes.
Is he going to be okay?
I don't think I'm allowed to give away anything.
There's a few other, characters having like major storylines right now. Anything in store for Meredith? People want to know, are they trying to put her together with Mick Widow? Is there hope for her?
Isn't he so great? It was so beautiful to learn why he's so hesitant to proceed in love, and because you see what he's been through. And I think that is also so human, and it's so human that we don't know why people act the way they act. And I think that there is also like a great human trait for the way we treat people. And we don't know why people act the way they do.
Are we meant to think that there's a future for him and Meredith, or are we meant to hold on to hope for Deluca and Meredith?
I think there's another love triangle. I don't know. I mean, it's like very Grey's Anatomy, right? It's like,
everyone's in a love triangle, yeah.
It is. We got to keep it complicated and juicy, and because I think that maybe that's the theme of this season 16.